Hi friends, so today I am going to talk about supplier development. When we talk about supplier development, it brings in mind about a child to whom a family, parent gives full facilities so that that child can become a good citizen. If we talk about a management training, the organization gives intense training in initial few years so that that person who has joined the organization can become a good resource for the organization. Even if you look at the birds and animals, the kind of feeding, the kind of support they give to their offspring so that they can become strong enough to feed themselves and protect themselves from others. Something similar happens in supplier development. Now, in supplier development, the intent is to see that how we can make our supplier more useful for us so that they become equal partner for the sustained success of the organization. So, I'll put the entire thing into 4 steps. The first step is that why the organization want to develop any supplier. The second step is once the organization decides to develop the supplier, what will be the criteria for selection? The third step will be how to do the supplier development. And the fourth and the last step is that how to assess that whether supplier development process has been effective or not. So let me start with point number 1. What will be the criteria, or in fact the first step should be that why the organization should think about supplier development. Now there can be a couple of reasons for that. The first can be the organization is thinking about changing their product line. Say for example, at the moment organization is supplying to 2-wheelers and now they want to upgrade themselves to 4-wheelers. So it's very important to understand that whether their existing supplier base is competent or ready to advance their skills or competencies as per the expectation of 4-wheelers or not. Some other criteria could be that organization want to see that for long-term success, what they are seeking, whether suppliers also have the same kind of vision what they are looking for. Some other reasons could be that there may be some chronic issues which are regularly happening with the suppliers, so that may result in thinking that yes, there should be a process for supplier development. Now these days there is a lot of pressure on cost, so that can be another reason for organization to think about supplier development. And there can be many more reasons depending upon different kind of industry that you are dealing with. So once the criteria or the reason that why organization should go for supplier development is set, that brings the step number 2. That what will be the criteria, how the organization will decide that out of so many suppliers, on an average in a medium-sized company, there are at least from 50 to 100 suppliers. They are dealing small, big, medium size, right? So how to decide that which are the few important ones that they need to pick up for the supplier development process? Again, there are so many criteria which can be there. So I'll be sharing some of them. Now it can be based on risk analysis, that you think that this is important for the organization or this can be critical for the success of organization. Another could be their capacity and capability issues, that can be a criteria. Another could be the logistics issue. Another could be the kind of management system certification that they are having and whether it is serving any value to the organization or not. Then different kind of issues like say premium freight. Consistently there are issues of premium freight, so that can be an issue with respect to the criteria that organization can think about. Then maybe the competency of people who are working in organization, especially new product development process, that can be another criteria of that. Then maybe some commercial related issues, that costing is going very high, so that may be one of the criteria. And there can be so many reasons which organization can think, and based on that they can decide that okay, these are the few, say 5 or 10 suppliers for which they will do the supplier development. Now that brings point number 3. Now how to do supplier development process. So let me share it in the form of PDCA, plan, do, check and act. So first thing is the organization has to plan how to do the supplier development. And there can be few steps in that. The first step is the commitment of top management of both the parties. Unless and until there is a clarity and commitment between organization's top management and supplier top management, that yes, they are serious about this, nothing is going to happen. Then Second point is with respect to planning, that how to go about the supplier development. What will be the time frame under which the entire process has to be done? Then what will be the review frequency? Then what is the present certification? Is it ISO 9000? If it is automotive, IATF 16949, or maybe another certification. Then there are different tools like CQI tools, continuous quality improvement tools. What is the present status? So that all becomes a part of planning. Then it is also important that whether the organization has given all the related documents like technical specifications, work instructions, control plans, drawings, etc. or not. So all these things become a part of planning. Now once this part is done, then we come to do part. Now how to do the do part? So the first step would be the supplier will be audited by the organization, and there will be a gap analysis that will be done that will bring out, yes, these are the gaps that are being observed. Now what to do about those gaps? Many times organizations give complimentary trainings. At times organization gives some trainings on, say, some sort of subsidized rates, and then organization also checks that which are the weak areas in the supplier end. Now it can be in the final inspection, which we sometimes call it as quality gate. It can be at their incoming inspection stage. It may be the competency of their new development team, so they are not fully equipped to develop a new product which results in continuous problems. It can be a problem with respect to the laboratories, that they are not fully equipped, the work environment is not good, or maybe the instrument that you are using, they are not calibrated, maybe the use of master samples. We are actually not the master sample but the bad samples, but still they are being used for reference. So there can be so many things that can come out of the gap analysis that needs to be corrected. Then during this process it is also important to assess the performance of the sub-suppliers if they are impacting the performance of suppliers. Maruti has got a manual for the tier 2 suppliers. Like Maruti is getting this components from one particular supplier, and from their supplier from where the material is coming, so they are going to that level and they are giving different kind of grading like red, green and yellow to assess their performance. So similarly organization also has to see that whether there's the suppliers, whether they are responsible for the poor quality of performance. So these all things will be relevant for do part. Then check. So whatever improvement that has been planned, whether it is going as per the plan or not, whatever time frame that has been set, whether things are improving as per that in terms of quality, delivery, costing, whether all these things are happening or not, whether the third party certification which the organization has got, whether it is serving any purpose, or there is a need to request the third party to support the organization so that suppliers can be developed. So all those things are a part of check part. And then action. Now it is the time to assess the overall supplier development process, that how it is going, in which direction it is going, whether it is serving the purpose or it is not serving the purpose. If it is serving the purpose, let it continue. If not, it's a time to escalate to the top management to discuss and understand that how it can be worked out. And at times it may be observed that top management is not willing from the supplier side to improve themselves. So it's a time for organization to think and decide whether they should continue with the same supplier or look for the new suppliers, right? So this is the part of plan, do, check and act. Now that brings point number 4, how to assess whether the supplier development process is effective or not. So it can be improvement in quality, delivery, improvement in the costing, the continual improvement project, some sustainable success is being observed. So all these things will be the criteria to see that whether the supply and development process is effective or not. But in general, there are few challenges that is being seen in industry. So let me share those challenges. One challenge is that at times the organization decides to go ahead with the supply development process. But how often top management actually reviews that what is the status of supply development process when so much of money, time and energy is being spent on that? Then another point that is generally being observed, that supply development process is started, but the kind of people who are involved in this process, whether they are actually competent to do this process or not. And then another important point which is very common is that with a lot of energy, with a lot of excitement, we start the supplier development process, but we never reach to the conclusion. Somewhere in between, the organization loses the interest or the energy of that. These are a few challenges with respect to supplier development process. So if I summarize everything, the 4 steps. The first step is why organization has to go for supplier development process. Step number 2, that once they decide what will be the criteria for supplier development. Then step number 3, how to do the supplier development. And then step number 4, that how to assess that whether supplier development process is going in the right direction or it is not giving the desired results. My dear friends, in case you want to know this information in detail, you can go to the below link and you will get more information about it. And in case you want to continuously hear about these videos, so you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and you will get the updated information. Thank you.